Next item is something that I think causes, or our alums really want to hear from you on, and that's the term underrepresented minorities is used when talking about admissions. Tell us, the background of that, what makes up that category?
Sure. Underrepresented minorities. Otherwise, sometimes you'll hear it referred to as URMs. It's very much a part of the higher education process, and in fact, there are mandates by the Department of Education to report out on statistics, and that's why we do that. It helps us know where we're at. It also helps us to shape the future of the Coast Guard workforce. It's good for us to know. So we have these mandates that are broken down into categories that we, like the other 4,000 plus higher education institutions throughout the country, have to report through a process called IPEDS. There are 6 categories that are what I would call underrepresented and that are by law mandated that we report. Asian, African American, Hispanic, Native American. There's a category that's called 2 or more, and I'll explain that in just a second. Pacific Islander is the other one. Let's go back to 2 or more. 2 or more is a combination of a couple of different categories, and it's self-reported by the applicant. Okay. The final 2 categories of the underrepresented process are not reported. Some applicants choose not to be identified by a race, and then the other category is, of course, majority, and the majority still is the majority of our applicant pool.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up. And tell me how are underrepresented minorities recruited through the diversity and outreach branch, or your minority outreach team, if you will?
Sure. Everybody in admissions is working the process to get a reach across all of those categories that I just mentioned. We do have a diversity outreach branch in admissions, and that is a little bit narrower in focus. Of course, they're looking to find the talent, more talent, enrich the pool with underrepresented minorities. But everybody in admissions is involved in this process. So we've got admissions officers out there in 7 different regions of the country. They're very aware of their metrics and what's in their pool and who is an applicant and who's working their way toward the next step of completion. In addition to the admissions officers, we have another dedicated team, this diversity and outreach branch, which also has some other dedicated folks. This year we just hired 3 reserve officers that are helping in the diversity outreach group. They're manning up a team that we're calling the African American Initiative for Recruiting. We've done very well recruiting underrepresented minorities. A lot of people don't realize that just 5 years ago, the Academy Corps Cadets was about 15% underrepresented. Today, based on the most recent data that we've got, we're 30% underrepresented. While we're talking about, let's talk about gender, and at the same time with women, and it's another concern that we have in diversity and outreach. We have been holding somewhere around, I think it was around 29% over the years for women gender mix. Now the Corps Cadets is at 34%, and it kind of goes back to that thing we were talking about with the sports teams and how that has changed the way that we have to really be very aware as we work our athletic teams and how we build them to make sure that we give the right amount to each one of the genders, if you will.